get into game number 1 here on Small World's End. And Godly is all business right now. He's locking in the Terros. He's not making any friends anymore. He's not playing any more Orb. He just wants to get through this early part of the bracket as quickly as possible.
Well, it's kind of like what you mentioned before, right? How it's the last flame. Is that what you said?
The Flame Keeper, yeah.
The Flame Keeper, excuse me. The last flame is a game I've been playing. But the Flame Keeper, but if you actually look at the tag that he's kind of has on his Brawlhalla account, it's the Minotaur. So, yeah, he's definitely not looking to make friends right now. Right now, it seems like he's trying to get Rikka locked into his labyrinth so he can try to find a way to just beat the absolute crap out of him.
And that's the name of the game. They already got chains on the Mordex for a reason. The sidelight comes in, but Godly keeping the damage relatively even is Rikka, though, who gets a sider on Godly, now stuck on the wall, gets back, and we're going to try to get something going on the hammer, but it's not quite the time for it, as the Rikka Mordex is the one to get first strike here in game number 1.
Yeah, no, this is definitely what you want to be doing, especially against a player like Godly. If you can find a way to set that pace early, then like that's always a good sign. But there is a thing here, right? We do know it's Godly. Not only is, he lives up to his own name that he gave himself, by the way, but he can find a way to turn this around, and on Terros, it only takes a few hits to release that.
Yeah, absolutely. He gets that nice sider, rising from the wall. It's a great option to punish Rikka, who is definitely holding forward and trying to push at an advantage state, which I like for sure. It's like, you have a lead on Godly, you definitely want to take advantage of it. Don't want to let him get into this game. Nice snare there, going for the sider, but a Nair sends Godly in a really bad spot. We charge with the ground pound, but it doesn't connect, and Godly gets the stage again.
Yeah, I feel like trying to get like a position where you're going to be able to land that on Godly, like I do, like you mentioned, I respect the aggressiveness that Rikka's kind of bringing here, but like, you're not going to get that too often on Godly. I mean, you can keep trying, but like, that's still a very tricky position to be in. And now you're unarmed here. All right, tries to find the GCD lane, not going to be able to get that happening here, but there we go, gets that hit that we need to be able to take out that next stock, and now it's 2-1 in Godly's favor. It's kind of what I expected to happen here, right? You can't take the first stock, but how do you do in the rest of the game? Now we're going to see if Rikka can continue to try and keep this pressure, find a way if he can, even this up some way, somehow.
Yeah, these reversals from Godly, kind of whiff punishes in general, lead to so much damage on the action. Great weapon toss there. And a bit of a flashbang with the GC downlight. I don't know if it was necessary, but Godly got hit by the weapon toss anyway. So we come down to last stock, and it is Small World's End, so one dodge read means you can get KO'd very early by both legends here. We go for a big read there with the Nair, but Godly doesn't give it, and Rikka is going for basically anything. He's pulling all the punches right now. He's trying to get something big here, gets the double downer. Godly stuck off stage. He almost gets the triple, but he doesn't make it back, and he makes it back to the wall. Godly gets the recovery. He takes game number 1 and steals it away from Rikka.
I really respect the heck out of that for Rikka, though. You really just kind of threw it at the wall, tried to get everything happening as possible, right? You went for the super aggressive play, and if you did land that, that's game for you, right? But unfortunately, you didn't get the one you really needed. That allowed Godly to get back and get the reversal that he needed to be able to close out that game 1. But honestly, do not be discouraged. I think Rikka is playing phenomenal right now and needs to keep up the same pressure.
Yeah, exactly, and it's it's an unfortunate draw this early in the bracket as you're trying to find your chances to make it into top 8 here, but it's definitely like, sometimes you just have to face the best this early in the bracket, and you're gonna have to bring it. And like you were saying, I think Rikka, I like the style that he's playing. Like, you have to push your limits here. You have to limit test, because it's when it comes down to fighting somebody like Godly, it's gonna be very, very difficult if you're not bringing as much as you can. And you see Godly, I mean, level 82 on this Terros pick. It's quite interesting we're seeing Terros. I was talking to him at midseason, and he was talking a lot about playing a lot of Orb, playing like Fate, for example, not really thinking much about, Terros, but we see the Terros pick here, and it's already working for Godly.
They're just kind of waiting to see what's going to be happening from here. A little bit of a... Oh, there we go. Okay. Probably just some players just trying to, maybe grab some water between the games or something. I'm not entirely sure, but we're getting right back into our next game. And it looks like we're going to be going back to Small World's End. All right.
It should be a good matchup here. I mean, this is definitely like the stage that you're going to want to keep going back to if you Rikka. At most, I mean, you have a really nice blast zones to try to find like very early stocks, but at the same time, you're fighting Terros, the dominating meta force right now that's able to kind of get you into that KO damage range in a couple hits and then get a signature. That'll be very careful here as Rikka, but definitely playing for that very volatile matchup here on Small World.
Oh, wow. Okay, really just had a good read on that one. Godly just retreating the entire time. But it wasn't like a retreat for defense. It was a treat to be offensive. And honestly, he's been doing a really great job just kind of getting these hits. But Rikka going to get rid of those gauntlets, now picking up the scythe here. Great movement, actually. Beautiful movement in neutral here, just to try to get that advantage state. And it has been continuing so far. Beautiful setup. And Rikka's going to be able to take out that first stock here. Maybe a repeat of game 1, but we'll see if Rikka can kind of change fate this time around.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely very comfortable for Rikka here, and on the axe on Godly, it's not really the weapon that I think you want to find yourself in right now as we get the Nair to the side here, the chase dodge upwards, and going for the very deep downer, gets the Nair to flip Godly off stage once again, and we see another downer attempt, but Rikka, side Nair, chase dodge, ground pound, nice dodge from Godly, but that's so much extra credit damage. Even though he didn't get the stock confirmation, you're happy to play this well in the game.
That is actually, it was so risky, and honestly, the reward for that was phenomenal. Granted, you didn't get a stock out of that, but honestly, one more opening for the way that Rikka's playing here, that should be the chance for him to close it out, and we get Scythe right back into it here. But Godly back on the offensive, counter hitting, still maintains that axe, getting back down to the stage now. Yes, good open. Can you find a way to even this up, at least in terms of damage? Rikka now back on the offensive here, though, controlling the stage.
That's really, really tough when, I mean, Rikka is just like so lights out on the scythe pick right now. The side light comes through, doesn't KO, but we forfeit our weapon here. A weapon spawn towards Godly. Godly's going to capitalize with a Nair there on the hammer. Now he's the one weapon starving Rikka, who seemingly had so much control. The end light after the weapon toss will pick up another hammer. We're looking for that KO option. D-light into Nair, and all of a sudden Godly steals the game away into the deep red. But Godly's the first one to take the second stock at Rikka now in the same spot he was in the last game, where Godly in such a great spot, but now Godly having the lead.
Man, it feels like deja vu, but man, that's not what it is. It is literally just a repeat of what we just saw in game 1 so far. Godly with 2 straight to answer back. Granted, he does lose that second stock. Now both players, there we go, the scythe coming through. Small opening here. Rikka's advantage states have been great. I mean, he hasn't been able to like 0 to death or anything like that, but again, like being able to pull that off on Godly is going to be a very, very tricky situation here. Godly's got mixes in the bag for days. But I do like his like defensive game plan here to lead to offense. I'm pretty sure we almost ended it the same exact way. I feel like that's what just happened in the last game entirely.
Yeah, no, that was incredibly close towards the end there. But then I feel like kind of such as Light versus Teros is we saw Godly just get like 3, 4, 5 hits. And then it just became like unsurmountable of a lead on the side of Godly there. Like Rikka was able to kind of compete somewhat in the second stock, but as soon as it came down to a last stock, it became quite difficult for much more of that to happen, because it's just like, how do you really compete versus that hammer, especially when the Terrace has so much KO potential? I didn't see what stage we're banning to, but I'm hoping that you see maybe something different here. I feel like the Terrace can definitely compete and take advantage. No, we're just going right back to Small World's End. We got game number 3 here. I really want Rikka to at least take a game. He's taken a couple games versus Godly in the past, but at least like get that for your momentum. I'm not sure if you can win the set off of it, but anything's possible. He's playing really well in these first couple stock interactions.
No, I think I'm with you entirely. I think we can get a game, and I think there's a potential to just turn it around. The problem is right now is just that like you keep getting these great like strong openings, but Godly just answers back. Like you're not really stifling him out. It's like Godly's just kind of saving some gas for that last lap and then just putting pedals to the metal. But right here, we're seeing an opposite those last 2 games. Godly taking the first early stock and really setting the pace to try and close this one out 3-0.
Yeah, the hammer is exactly what I hope to see from the side of Godly, as the axe was, finding some middling success versus the scythe, but the hammer seems to have such a dominant control of this game. Ooh, the down air, the nairs, the juggle continues, the damage almost being lapped on the side for Godly now, who keeps the damage very even here. They show up a stock. It's so tough. D-light into side light, sending off stage. One more D-light or a scoop to score, and Godly is running away with this game right now. This is crazy.
Yeah. So Godly is pretty much just like, hey man, I'm just kind of keeping that gas in the back, right? Just waiting to really just kind of floor it and just let it rip. And yeah, it's looking like that's going to be a quick and easy 3-0 closeout. The first 2 games look great for Rikka, but man, the adaptation here from Godly has been phenomenal. Really trying to close this out with a strong 3-0 just to put a real stamp on the record here, saying that you don't got anything on me. Godly, okay. Yep. Potential stock going to be lost here by Rikka. No trade, okay.
Now, I hate to be that guy, but every time I see a spawn like this, I'm like, you know what? If if Rikka does it, it's like the greatest comeback in Brawlhalla history. Is he gonna do it? Probably not, but it's nice to think of the happy times here for Rikka. But a D like side air will confirm the stock, and Godly is able to take the first set of the side stream here with a quick and swift Rio. That last game was not particularly close, definitely not telling the story of the set. But oftentimes when you're playing against a force like Godly, the Flame Keeper, the Minotaur, whatever the title may be, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, and like the thing is, it's like I think part of it is like you're looking at this and